So let's talk about it. You know, the more we keep diving into this slavery era and the beginning of America, we discovered that a lot of people thought that slavery was morally wrong, but they did it because they knew they could get away with it. And you know how they say you live by the sword, you die by the sword? And you know how they say in a relationship, what you do in the beginning is what you got to do to keep them or maintain it? Well, that was a lot of the energy in slavery. So the easier thing is, instead of making everything right, is to continue the chaos and the dysfunction. And in some cases, take away certain things, certain tools that can be used against you, such as knowledge. Get rid of the older generation and bring up the newer generation in what you want them to learn and what you want them to know. This is how you hide history. This is how you keep things going in your favor. So though a lot of people knew that what they were doing was wrong, and they were continuing it because they could do it and they were benefiting from it and it was making their lives comfortable. And as things started to develop beyond like just literature and writing, and you started getting film and other forms of media, where you were able to tell these stories in a faster time limit, reaching more people than you could before. They created the character of the happy slave. They created the character of the happy African American. Could be seen as the image of the dancing slaves, the dancing black people. They also did in blackface, framing black women as their mistresses when we know exactly what that was. Because if you cannot consent to a relationship, you know what that's called. The mammy who was happy to serve white households and to serve white women in specifically. Happy black man who was emasculated because they framed him as a threat to their children and their wives. And in the South, you know, they tell these stories and they frame it that we're all one big happy family. And back then, everyone was like one big happy family, and not every slave master, not everyone who had a black worker was cruel to them. Some of them were treated just like family. And though some of the physical things that our ancestors had to see day to day are now long gone, there is an energy that is still present, and it's only evolving because there's a fear of retaliation. And there is a personal guilt that people feel. Whether they're clear on exactly what the history is of the past or they just have some type of idea, there is a guilt, there is a shame, there is an internal battle. A desire to know from the other party that they are safe, that they are okay, that that other party is not a threat. And it's not fair to the other party. It's actually quite stressful and exhausting. Because nobody should have to prove to you that they are a safe space. People should be able to just exist. Because honestly, if you were trying to be a better person and do the right thing and do the generational healing work, there shouldn't be a need for people to make you and yours comfortable when you're doing the work.